mind is, why?
Bring down America. I think that's probably, in my mind, that's why Obama was put in as president, to bring the country down. You know, he's not loyal to this country.
But you're not bringing America down. You're bringing potentially the whole world down with this bill.
That's right. That's right. You're bringing the entire monetary system down, and if you have a debit monetary system ready to jack under the old one, that's what you would do. And for the last 30, 40 years, they've been building the debit monetary system, all of the barcodes on everything. It's set up as a 666 card bar system. It is for the debit monetary system.
So basically you're saying it's potentially a cashless society.
That's right. Everything is in place except numbering the people. Everything
if that is the case,
the whole system is in place all over the world.
But if that is the case, Griff, and I, pardon me, I hate to even bring this up during this conversation, but if potentially there will be a cashless society, then what's going to happen to those entities in the government that are responsible for bringing drugs to this nation?
You mean the CIA?
Well, you said it. I didn't. Yes, and with that, people on the streets who buy drugs, they only do it via cash. How are they going to do that with the cashless society?
I don't know that. I do think it's a very complicated thing. There are many pieces. All of the wheels are turning in different directions. I do believe that, as the ALTA says, the powers that be, I do believe it's out of control. I do believe it's out of control. I don't believe that anybody or any group will be able to control this thing. I think it's totally out of control.
Well, you see, Griff, you're saying the powers that be, and people think, oh, that's the government. Obviously, this is not the government.
Well, it's a lot of different people, a lot of different organizations.
In the next 30 days, what do you foresee happening?
I foresee our life becoming more complicated. I see our standard of living going down. I see just a general degradation across the board on all things that we hold dear and all that we depend on to maintain our lifestyle.
What's your take on that image that you sent me this morning with I saw a picture of one runway in one Air Force base a couple of weeks ago, but now you sent me another one, and these are multiple runways in a private airport. And this looks like thousands of vehicles. What's your take on those pictures?
Well, if you read the second email that I sent, it went into some detail about ownership. And it's probably, it smells like the CIA operation. And it probably will be used in the evacuation, in the control, in the management of that land we call Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, along the coastline, I would think.
Why CIA? Don't we think CIA and associate that with foreign spying and not United States? No, maybe we have the FBI for that? I
think that some people associate it with foreign, but people in the know that they are very active here. They own more companies than you can imagine. They would fill up a phone book with companies owned by the CIA. You probably have dealt with some of them. They're into everything. They're into airlines. They have billions of dollars worth of airlines.
Evergreen?
Evergreen, yeah. One up in Michigan. The guy was a baggage handler. He was a race car driver, and then the next day he had about $10 billion worth of freight airlines. But that's normal. They're into international banking. They're into international construction. They're into everything.
But to not digress, if we should get back to Grand Isle, Louisiana, which is where a lot of this is happening, if you and I were to call the sheriff's department and ask them, we have heard from people on the ground that somebody is arresting reporters or people with cameras, what would they say?
They would be afraid to give you an honest answer.
Well, if they say we can't, I'll decline the interview, or I have no power to talk, isn't that confirmation enough that something sinister is happening there?
I don't know that you need confirmation. I think you have enough confirmation to know that something outside of the law, outside of Constitution is going on there.
This is what I see, and I hate to editorialize. I can see why the government may impose a media blackout for certain things. Domestic tranquility is their primordial goal right now. If they were to allow the media to go out there to fly over the plumes, and there are multiples, and now I've heard that there's more than one spill, there are multiple spills. If that information gets out, people are going to start making plans. It's not going to be good for the remaining good that the economy has. Do you think that's why the media blackout is taking place?
No. I don't think the government is concerned about the welfare of the people. I think the government is fascist. I think you have criminals appointed to high government places, including Obama. You don't know who he is. You don't know what his name is. You don't know where he was born. He's probably not even qualified to be president for being born in Africa. Everybody's protecting every one of those agencies. They're not acting in the interest of the American people or the interest of the United States. They're acting in their own interest and driven by power and money.
See, I'm not here to make this political. However, I have to say something. I do find that his involvement during this crisis has left a lot to be desired. I mean, we don't see him there taking, Harry Truman said, the buck stops with me. And although we hear him say that, we don't see any action. And all we see is BP taking over and no government involvement aside from the Coast Guard.
That's right. He's not. People do what they want to do, and that's what the president wants to do. There were pictures on the internet the other day, probably still there, on Drudge, with the vice president having a water gun battle with the advisor to the president, what's his name? Emanuel, yes. They were shooting it out with big blaster water guns. Now, and the president going to parties and to dinners and listening to the Beatles play music at the White House while Rome burns.
I tell you, if I were in charge, I would put temporary housing for myself there. I would not move from the area until this is finally done. Just create a new government headquarters for me there and just do not stop until this is done.
Well, Mel, what would you do if you had Arab leanings and you were an Arab and you bowed to all the Arab leaders? How would you be concerned about America? Obviously, he's not.
Well, but I would presume that he is concerned about being reelected, unless he just wants to do what he has to do in 4 years because he knows he may not be reelected and move on. I mean, this disaster alone, the economy before may be solely a reason, but now with this, it's just that this is the final moment.
I don't think he has any intention of having a presidency after 4 years. There's not going to be a United States after 4 years.
When you say there won't be a United States after 4 years, what do you mean?
As we know it today.
As we know it today.
As we know it today. I really believe that. It's going.
Well, Griff,
I think the dollar is going to fail this year, and God only knows how that's going to play out. Because it's not only the United States, it'll have ricochet and ripples all over the world. And how do you keep the lights on if there's no money to exchange for labor and products? How do you buy chemicals for the water supply? How do you keep the generators running for electricity with no money to exchange for fuel for the generators, for the salary? How do you maintain your military? How do you keep the airplanes flying? And just on and on and on without any money.
Well, just to close this segment, Griff, this week we have a show called Nazi Inc. The business plan continues, and this is exactly what we talk about. It's almost as if the script continues. We're coming to a new Weimar Republic, which creates another world war, and from there on, who knows? A.C. Griffith, thank you so much for your participation, and keep us posted.
Thank you, Mel. Good luck to you.
Okay?
I will.
Bye. And that was A.C. Griffith. I will continue updating as much as I can. I will upload more of these Veritas special reports as they become available. For more updates, visit our website and our forum at veritasshow.com. Until the next report, I'm Mel Fabregas. Be well.